smiling next to you. And these candles by my bed just so I can set the mood. Told me that she got it, told her that I need some food.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome to a brand new series called Love, Sex, Relationships. Not really that creative. I couldn't think of anything to call this series, so I just thought love, sex, relationship works. We know that February is, you know, known as the month of love. It is that month where everyone starts talking about Valentine's and love and all that stuff. And I thought, you know what, this would be the perfect time to delve a little bit deeper, to have discussions, to talk about different things, to share some stories with you guys as well in relation to love, sex and relationships. And just to kind of focus a lot of the content on love, sex and relationships, which is a topic that so many people are interested in. I get so many questions asked, whether it be on Instagram, on Twitter, on Snapchat, about love, sex and relationships. So I thought this would be the perfect time. The videos, I don't know how consistent they're gonna be, but all I know is that I'm gonna, you know, have this series for the whole month. Even though we know that Valentine's Day is on the 14th of Feb, we're probably gonna go past that and just have videos dotted around for the entire month, all focused on love, sex and relationships. So I really do hope that you enjoy this series, and obviously you guys know that I'm a Christian and I make, you know, I don't hide that. So some of it will be very like Christian focused or Christian orientated, but it's also going to be open to everyone. So I hope that you enjoy the entire series, and I'm super excited. I'm really excited about this. I know that some people find talking about things like this a bit difficult or a bit cringe, but I'm here for us to lay it all out and bare, and for us to just be very real and keep it 100 with each other. Now I did want to make a quick disclaimer, okay? Mom, this one is for you, because my mom watches every single one of my videos. And mom, I am going to be talking about sex. So mom, if you know that this is going to make you feel uncomfortable and you don't want to watch this, or any of my aunties or uncles or whoever else, I don't really know who watches my YouTube videos, but know that this series, this particular series, we are going to be talking about sex. I am going to be sharing certain stories. So if you don't want to hear anything, I don't think this is for you. So mom, I'm giving you the chance to click off of this video and go on something else if you don't want to hear me talking about this stuff. But I wanted to have this discussion because I've said it and I continue to say it time and time again, that we tend not to have this discussion, especially as Christians, especially within the church. I do think that things are changing now, but traditionally the only point to discuss sex within the church or with Christians was to say do not have sex before marriage, and that was literally it. It was just like, don't have sex before marriage, it's sinning against God, don't do it, just get on with your life and do other things. But yeah, we want to talk about things a little bit deeper than that. I would advise you to grab tea, coffee, hot Ribena if you're Sarah Destiny, I still don't get it, but whatever it is, snacks, and get ready for this video. So as you can tell by the title of this video, I'm going to be telling you about my celibacy story, my journey to celibacy, and obviously in order for you to understand my journey to where I am right now, which is in a place of celibacy, where basically I'm abstaining from having sex, and yes, I have a partner. It's not just because of circumstance. You guys will probably know, you know, I have a boyfriend. We've been together for, how long has it been now? For a year and 4 months, and it's hard, but we are abstaining from sex. But of course there's a story behind the whole celibacy thing, so I'm gonna rewind and start kind of from the beginning. So let's go back to 2000 and I think it was 9. Was it 2009? I think it was 2009. 2009 I gave my life to Christ, okay? I think I will do a proper whole testimony video, but basically 2009 I gave my life to Christ. 2011 I think was when I got baptized. I always was a person that loved God. I loved God, I loved Christ, I loved Jesus. I was very open with my faith. I would tell people, yeah, I'm a Christian, I believe in this, I believe in that. Growing up, I was very like, no sex until marriage. I knew that it was what God wanted for me. I you know, when I was younger, I didn't quite understand it, and I didn't quite understand why, but as I grew older, I kind of came to see like there's just no point. Like, you know, I obviously, by the time you get to like around 15, 16, a lot of people that you actually know are sexually active. Like a lot of young people are sexually active from about 15, 16. So I was hearing stories and people telling me things, and I had friends who were having sex. But for me, it wasn't really something that interested me, you know, to be very honest. And you might think like, oh, how? But it really didn't. I wasn't really interested in sex. I knew that I wanted to, you know, stay a virgin up until marriage. I knew that how precious, like I knew how precious that was, and I knew how precious I was, and I was kind of like, I ain't letting no one touch me. Like, you know, I'm gonna wait until I have my husband. Then when I have my husband, I'm gonna give him everything. We're gonna do whatever. But obviously things happen in life, and you may still have that love for Christ and you may know God, but sometimes life happens. And when I turned 18 years old, basically, I was dating this guy, and I'm gonna do a whole story about him as well, because he is a story within himself. And yeah, you're gonna understand in the video why he's a story within himself. It actually might be the next video after this, but anyway, he's a story within himself. But basically with him, I lost my virginity to him. You know, I was on and off with him for about 3 years. He was one of the people that I can say that I had a very close bond with. You know, I met him years back when I first moved into the area that I live in now in East London. I was always told certain things about him. I didn't want to listen. Obviously, me being stupid and doing whatever I was doing. Long story short, we got together and he took my virginity. It happened, and I remember the first time it happened, right? I was just like, how did I even feel? I felt, basically the first time, let me even tell you actually, the first time it happened, I just laid there. I literally laid there like a plank. And I just laid there. And I remember, because obviously in my heart of hearts, I knew what I was doing was wrong. I knew that this is not what I wanted for myself. I knew that this is not what God intended for me. I knew that, you know, there was just something, you know, when your spirit is telling you and you know that you shouldn't be doing this, but you've done it anyway. So I literally just kind of laid there like a plank. And obviously it's a new experience, it's weird, you know, someone has experienced your body in a way that nobody else has before ever. Even though I do want to rewind, like I did go through a bit of a reckless stage. So in fact, let me even rewind and tell you guys the real rule. We're going to keep it absolutely 100 in this, right? So when I was about 14 years old, that is when I lost weight dramatically. When I was in year 9. Before that, I was the fat ugly kid. Like that's how I defined myself. People probably didn't see me like that, but that's how I saw myself. I saw myself as the fat ugly duckling. Nobody noticed me. No one even batted an eyelid to me. No one really cared about me like that. That was just me. As soon as I lost weight, I kid you not guys, it was like a switch turned on the next day, because all of a sudden everyone was noticing me. Everyone was like, oh my gosh, Nissy, what happened? You're so pretty. And obviously I went to a girls' secondary school, so then there was this one day, I just remember it so clearly, clear as day. There was this one day where obviously I've now lost the weight, and all of a sudden I start hanging around with the more popular girls, because all of a sudden they kind of noticed me, because before that I was a bit of a floater. And I remember we went out in Stratford, we went to the shopping centre. This was before Westfield had been invented, before Westfield came to Stratford. We went into the actual shopping centre, and I just remember guys from, I think it was either Rokeby or St. Bon's, which were the two closest schools to us, just looking at me like I literally, and this is gonna sound so vain and so narcissistic, but it felt like all eyes were on me, because I heard people like, who's that girl? I've never seen her before. So yeah, people started noticing me, and with that, you know, when you've never had that before, sometimes it can gas you, and it did gas me. I cannot lie to you, you know. It gassed me because I started now getting, you know, guys started moving to me, and I started like giving guys my number, and I started talking to guys, and I started like feeling like, oh, like guys are talking to me, oh my gosh, like whatever. And I put myself in some stupid situations, like, you know, I can't lie to you, I was young and dumb. And I wanted to especially share this because some people assume that just because I talk about my celibacy and whatever, that I am saying that I'm this perfect human being and this perfect person. No, I'm not. And that is exactly why, you know, my relationship with God is so important, because it just reminds me of how imperfect I am and how much more I need God. You know, I put myself in very, very stupid situations. You know, I remember this one time where me and I can't remember who it was it Hannah? Oh, I don't even want to throw Hannah under the bus here, but it was either Hannah or someone that I knew. I remember I was in my school uniform. One guy moved to me and he had a friend, and he basically invited myself and whoever I was with, whatever friend it was, to his house. And this was I was so stupid because anything could have happened. And I went to his house and there was a bunk bed and nothing, like this was before I had sex or anything like that. Like nothing had happened at that point, because I don't think it's because I didn't allow it to happen. Like I knew that I didn't want anything to happen. But he was a little bit older, bearing in mind I'm in school uniform, so I was probably 14, 15. I think he was like 18 or something. I was being stupid and I was in a dumb place. And you know, this is especially for you if you feel like you're in that place right now. Like, let me tell you now, it doesn't, you won't find any fulfillment and you won't find any peace and joy from what you're searching for. You will probably, you like the attention, you like the fact that guys are noticing you, but that is not, what you're basically doing is not something positive, you know. You just feeling like you should just go to anyone's house, you can just do whatever with anybody. Let me tell you, you're putting yourself in very, very stupid situations. Like that encounter, I had met the guy once on the street and he took my number and I went to his house. Him and his friend, imagine if him and his friend just decided to lock that door and to literally do whatever they wanted to us. Like, that is how deep it is. But at the time, you don't think about that. You just think, oh yeah, this guy's interested in me, let me go and see him. But literally, you're putting yourself in a dangerous situation. And I would encourage any young lady, especially, you know, if you are in that phase of like guys are noticing you and you want to give your number out and you want to talk to guys, just think about what you do before you do it, please. Because number one, you could be putting yourself in a dangerous situation, and number two, there is just literally, there is no fulfillment and no kind of like yes in those situations and those circumstances. You know, it's just not worth it. It's really not worth it, especially if you're a young Christian and you're really trying really, really hard to walk with God. It is not worth it. I'm telling you right now, you know, it just isn't. It's a waste of your time. It's a waste of your energy chasing after these boys that like a couple of years later they will have absolutely no relevance to your life whatsoever. Just don't do it, guys, honestly. Because even in those times, like I still knew God, and I still knew that, you know, I still had a love. Like, one thing I can genuinely say is that God has always had his hand on me, and he's always had his hand on my heart. Like, in my heart of hearts, I've always known God, but I was stubborn and I was doing my own thing. But don't be like me. Don't do that. Don't think that, you know, you can just do your own thing, because it will only lead you to dark places. It will only lead you to, you know, hurt and pain and upset, whether it be with yourself or just whatever. Like, just don't bother. It's a waste of your time. Anyway, you know, so yeah, leading up to that point, I've done dumb, stupid things, but I'd never had sex. Then I turned 18, got with this guy. That's a whole story within itself, oh my goodness. But he was in my life for a good 3 years, from like literally 17 years of age to 20. And it was like 20 that I was like, I'm done. But again, that's going to be in another video. And when I was 18, I remember I went to his house. It happened. I lay there like a plank. I was shocked with myself, but it didn't stop me from doing it again. Once you've tasted a certain something, you get into this kind of spiral, unless you really consciously tell yourself, I'm not gonna do this. You get into this kind of spiral of kind of like, oh well, you know, I've done it now. And at that point as well, I feel like, again, though I loved God and I knew God, I wasn't seeking him. And that's one thing that I want to emphasize in this video. If you're not seeking God, if you're not really looking for him and searching for him and desiring him and running after him, just like you would, you know, if you had a boyfriend or a girlfriend, if you're not actually communicating with them, you know, speaking to them, really chasing after them, and not necessarily chasing after them and they're ignoring you, but just in terms of like just making sure that you're calling them and talking to them, if you're not building on that relationship, it's gonna become weak. And that's exactly what happened. You know, I became very, very stagnant in my faith. And though I knew there were certain things about that. Sorry guys, so I just realized that the heater was on, so it's probably making noise throughout the whole thing. So if you can hear it, I apologize, I switched it off now, so it should be a lot more quiet. But anyway, this is me saying this like 20 minutes in. I wasn't seeking him, I knew him, I'd go to church on Sunday, but that was where it ended. I very much became that Sunday type of Christian, and it was just what it was. But you know, it was just one of those things that happened, and I never like to say that I regret anything, only because I don't believe in regret. You know, I don't understand what the point is in being upset about something that you can't go back and change. So I don't regret it, but if I could go back and change it, yes, I would change it. But I also feel as though it's all been a part of my journey, and it's all been a part of learning and a part of me being here right now and being able to share this story, because I know that so many other people, you know, fall into certain things, and you might have never imagined. Growing up, I never imagined. I always thought, yeah, like I said, virgin till I'm gonna get married, I'm not gonna, you know, have sex, blah, blah, blah. But it happened, you know, I was silly, I gave into the flesh, and I did what I did it at 18, and I wasn't like sleeping with loads of different people, sleeping around with loads of different people. That's never been me. And fast forward to, when was it, when I first went to uni, first year of uni, I was still kind of ish with this person, and obviously we were still getting it in, okay? And then second year of uni, I think it was second year when I just like, it wasn't even, was it the beginning, right in the beginning of second year? It was even before I went into second year. I think it was like the end of first year, and then I was preparing to go back to uni. I cut all ties with him. I was done with him. This was, in fact, this was the summer of first year. So it was like the summer, so uni is not for another like 3-4, maybe like whatever, however many months, because at Cambridge, we got really long summer holidays. So I just remember kind of being at a point where I was just like, I'm done with this whole situation, I'm done. And again, I'm gonna tell the whole story, the proper story in that video. But yeah, I was like, I'm done with this situation, whatever, I'm leaving it. He did try to come back, but by that point, I had made some decisions in my life. So I had started, I think at the end of first year, started going to the church that I've mentioned in loads of my videos, RCCG, Redeemed Christian Church of God, City of David in Cambridge. Dope church, and it reignited that fire with God, and it made me look at my life in a whole new way, like in a completely different way. And it just gave me that kick up the backside to just be like, Nisi, you're saying and you're declaring that you love God and you love Christ and that you're a Christian, but what are you doing? Are your acts reflecting that? Is you know, are you, your body, what are you doing with your body to reflect that? Are you just living your life how you want to live your life, or are you sacrificing your body in order for you to honor God and to honor, you know, the sacred space of marriage that he created for a reason? And I just remember thinking to myself, like, I need to get it together. So I just remember, you know, just saying to myself, I'm so over it, I need to go celibate, I need to stop having sex, I need to just embark on this journey and embark on it properly. And you know, I had prayed about it, I had fasted over it, there were just so many, I was going through such a transition, and I thank God, like, God just, we thank God for his mercy, because, do you know when you just know that your father just loves you so much and it just makes you so happy? But yeah, that was basically it. And going through that piece of transition is really, really difficult. You know, it is like quitting smoking or drugs. Okay, it feels great in the moment, but once the moment is gone, you're just left with yourself there thinking, should you have really done that? How would God feel about, you know, how does God feel looking at you right now, knowing what you know about how you should be conducting yourself, and look at what you're doing? So it didn't give me any fulfillment. It didn't give me happiness. I feel like I was, you know, especially in that stage where I was on and off with this guy. When I tell the story, you will understand why, but I felt like I was looking for something, and I thought I could find it in guys, and I thought I could find it in sex, but I thank God, I realized pretty quickly that you can't. And after that, you know, once I had decided and was just like, this is not for me anymore, I I walked away. And yeah, it was difficult. It still is difficult. Like, guys, there are times when you're roasting. Like, don't let anyone lie to you and be like, no, it's cool, it's calm. No, there are days when you're literally like, you are roasting and you're just like, oh my goodness, you know, I just want to get married so I can just do the damn thing. But then at the same time, there's so much fulfillment and so much joy in knowing that, you know, you're doing this for a purpose and for a reason. And I can literally put my faith before my flesh. And that's something that is so important to remember, to put your faith before your flesh. Yes, your flesh might be telling you, you want this, you want that, you want this, you want that. But you have to discipline yourself, and you have to know that, you know, God ordained certain things in a way for a reason. And I understand that, you know, having, you know, encounters and being intimate with other guys, I realized why. I was just like, God knows why he's leaving it for you in marriage, because he knows that once you have that connection with that person beyond the flesh, beyond just having sex, but you have an intimate, deep connection, which is what I spoke about in an episode of Backchat. If you haven't watched it, I'll link it in the description box below, where I spoke about celibacy and all of that stuff, and about why I'm so adamant to stay celibate and why I believe in it so much. I literally feel like there are so many pros to being celibate, you know, even outside of faith, but things of just like staying clear-minded and being able to, you know, do your own thing, because people try to deny it, but sometimes, you know, when you do have sex, it does kind of change, it does it does mess with your head, basically. When you have sex with somebody, it does mess with your head. And I do believe in things like soul ties and all that kind of stuff. There really is a spiritual side to sex, and a lot of people don't, you know, think about that and don't consider that. But basically, that is my story. It wasn't a big like wow moment. It was a gradual thing, but I came to understand that I wasn't finding fulfillment in other people. I wasn't finding fulfillment in the flesh, and I knew that I had to literally, if I'm gonna say I'm being a Christian, if I say that I'm on this journey and I'm trying to live this life, let me actually do it. And then yeah, I had to just be like, right, I'm gonna be celibate. And funnily enough, the guy that I had actually lost my virginity to came back into my life-ish, and I told him, I was literally like, I'm celibate. And at first he thought I was joking, but then after a little bit, he kind of started realizing, and I remember he even turned to me once and was like, this whole celibacy thing, are you being serious? And I was like, listen, like, I'm not playing about, like, my faith means everything to me. I can't do this anymore. Like, I'm gonna be celibate. The only person that I'm gonna have sex with from this point on forward is my husband, and I'm gonna give it to my husband, and it's gonna be great, it's gonna be fantastic, and that is the person that I'm going to be intimate with. And the one beautiful thing as well to remember is the fact that, you know, I didn't feel guilty about the fact that, oh, now all of a sudden I've decided to be celibate. Yes, I have, and yes, I have encountered sex before, and yes, I've, you know, done certain things with certain people, but if God can forgive me, I need to know how to forgive myself, and I don't need to feel ashamed, because, you know, it says through Christ there is no condemnation, and I'm not condemned. I know that I am saved. I know that everything has been washed away, and I know that I could start afresh. And, you know, if you're somebody that has had sex, don't feel like you have to be stuck in that forever. Don't feel like because I've had sex, oh, that's just all I know, you know, I can't come out of it now. You know, what's the point if I now tell, let's say, my partner or somebody else that I want to be celibate? They're gonna judge me or be like, well, you've had sex anyway, who do you think you are? No, none of that matters. At the end of the day, you know why you're doing it, so stand by it and stick firm to it. But yeah, I know that I've been talking for ages. I need to get out of here anyway, because I'm being like kicked out of the room. Not even being kicked out, but as in my time is done in the space, so I've got to go. But I really do hope that you enjoyed, you know, this video. I hope that I explained it well. I know I kind of jumped around a little bit, but you know, this journey is a really, really hard one. Celibacy is really, really difficult, but you know, try it. And even if you're someone that's not of faith, I do recommend anybody tries it, because like I said, once you do have sex, it does cloud a lot of judgment. It does change a lot of different things. Try to become intimate with somebody outside of the physicality of a relationship, and just see how different your relationship is. I really do believe that, you know, when you have intimacy, deep intimacy, spiritually, emotionally, connecting with someone on a level outside of sex, I feel like so much beauty comes out of that. So much beauty comes out of it. So yeah, man, I hope that you enjoyed this video. Like I said, love, sex, relationships is a series, so you're gonna see plenty more videos. But yeah, just stay true to who you are, man, honestly. And if you're watching this video and you're just like, whatever, I don't believe in it, I'm getting it in, then boy, that's you, each their own. All I know is that this is my story and this is where I'm at right now. It is difficult, it is hard, but by the grace of God, all things are possible. So yeah, guys, I'll see you guys again in another video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, and click on that bell button so you're notified every time I post a video. And I'll see you guys again soon. Stay beautiful.
Lighting getting dimmer, but the flame still blue. Fire in your eyes, this is all so true. Just know I love ya.